Hey everyone, Pratik here, back with another video. So, welcome to my Cybertalk series. This is a really special episode. Today I'll be talking to Stok. He's a great bug bounty hunter, good vibe hack influencer, creator of Bounty Thursday. He is making a blog about bug bounty life. As a security researcher, I truly admire his work and I'm obliged to have him with us today. So, thank you Stok for taking time out and joining on my channel. I am very honored to have you as my guest. So
thank you. Thanks for the invitation. It's really cool to be here. I'm very happy that you're doing the things that you do. You are a strong force in this community, and I see on Instagram every day, right? So it feels like I really should at least give my audience a chance to meet you.
Thank you. So, Stok, the first question is, can you please give some quick recap about your journey in a bug bounty?
Okay, cool. Yeah, my bounty journey started I would say about 2 years ago, back in 2018. That's where it all began. It all started for me actually in Nolcon, Goa, India.
Oh, yeah.
Because I went to India together with Franz Rosen. I met him about 8 months earlier during DEF CON, and he was going, and I had that opportunity to just tag along, and lucky enough, Ben Hamsek wasn't allowed to go because I had some passport issues, and I got his place. So I went to India, recorded a vlog, just hanged out with all these amazing people, and I wasn't into InfoSec at all then. I was into making content, and I was on the blue team side. I was doing classic like penetration testing, but I didn't do bounties. I knew what bounties was, but it felt like it was out of my reach. But there and then I got introduced to Burp by Jobert Amba and Franz Rosen, and since that day on, I'm like, holy shit, this is so cool. You can actually hack at all these amazing targets, and if you find vulnerabilities, you get paid for it. I'm in. And so yeah, that's the story. That's where it all began to me.
Okay. So you are coming 2 times on India, like for the Nalcon and besides Ahmedabad. And on all that 2 times you're coming with Franz Rosen. So how was your experience in besides Ahmedabad? Man, besides Ahmedabad, amazing. Like the way that Nikhil and the other gang just pull that thing together is amazing. D is such a great organizer. I had a blast. Like I can't wait to go back, and I'm super bummed that COVID just wiped the whole conference scene out this year. Otherwise, hey, I would in November I would be in Ahmedabad, but apparently I'm not. Yeah. So what, according to you, is the biggest challenge you face in your bug bounty starting days, and how did you overcome it?
You mean, I don't know what my biggest challenge. My biggest challenge was the amount of knowledge. I would say there was so much information out there, and I didn't really know how to begin. So I don't know if you ever enter InfoSec Twitter, or if you do something like that, you'll realize that you'll get flooded with information. And I just couldn't sort all that out. I didn't know what to do. So I tried to consume everything, but quite soon I realized that, okay, I need to slow this down a bit. I need to do one bug at a time and learn as much as possible on that bug, on that typical kind of bug style. And then just visualize it in my head, the way I found it and how awesome the payout's going to be. And then I would just go and look for that bug everywhere until I found it. And when I felt comfortable around that vulnerability class, I just moved on to the next one.
Okay, that's totally awesome. So should a newbie focus on the vulnerability and master it, or should master the web app or look for the most of vulnerabilities?
Well, it kind of depends, you know. It's all depends on your style. The coolest thing with being a bug hunter is that you don't need to be a generalist. If you're doing pen test, you need to know a little bit about everything.
because you're doing coverage. You got 5 days to walk through an app, and you need to write down each and every single potential, even informative issue on that app. In Bounties, it's the totally opposite. The customer nowadays only really cares on the impact. So you need to be, I would say, Bounties is an area where you're allowed to be specialized if you want to.
Yeah. So what should the people automate, and what is your strategy for this?
You can automate almost anything, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you, let's say that you're writing the same report over and over and over again, automate the report creating process. That means that you have a certain kind of quality on the report that you're creating, or maybe, you know, if you're looking for certain stuff, like subdomain enumeration isn't something that you need to do by hand. There's a plethora of great tools out there for you to use, so use those. You know, if you're doing, if you're doing, let's say, content discovery or just recon in a way where you're trying to map out your attack surface, and you want to know what kind of ports that service is running, it's no idea to just use netcat and ask every single port. That would take a long time. So run mass scan first, master threads, the output of that, put that into Nmap, scan the things that you like, and the ones that answer that you're really interested in, you can do it again and then get some extra content out of it. So you get that extra out of it. So I would say automate anything you can. Don't do things two times if you don't have to. But just because you can't automate everything doesn't mean that you should stop there. Automation is a framework that's there for you, that's going to work for you while you're hacking at other stuff. That's the whole concept.
So Stok, when you started a bug bounty 2 years ago, you don't have any programming knowledge, right? So what do you think are the most important requirements to become a bug bounty hunter?
Curiosity. I would say a passion to learn new stuff, and the hacking mindset of just wanting to take everything apart, asking the questions why, and that's the whole thing. Like I usually explain to people bug bounties in a way that it's like imagine that you got this really nice 5,000 piece of puzzle. And all these pieces are in there. But instead of having that nice box with the image of a horse running close to the beach or a train or something, you don't get the box. All these pieces are just a bunch of pieces, but you have no idea what they represent because they're all upside down. Yeah. You're not allowed to move them around to see what's on the other side. So you have to build a puzzle depending upon all this information that you can gather. Like you're sorting out all the corners first and the end sides, and then you're trying to find these different kind of things that work together. And eventually when you're done with that, you flip it around and you realize that you're missing 50 pieces because, hey, that wasn't the full scope. But that's Bounties, the whole curiosity of blind box testing stuff and going for that. It's like the research mindset. It's an intriguing process, and being allowed to do that and hack on some of the most hardened, battle-hardened targets out there. There's no stack traces in these. There's no giveaways. You need to figure that out, and that just, it's amazing to me. I love that. It's a big challenge.
And yeah, guys, if you want to know about more, Stok made one video 1.5 years ago, how to get started into bug bounties, 9x pro tips. So video link in the description. Make sure, guys, you check this out. Okay, so Stok, the next question is live hacking events or normal programs to hunt on. What would you prefer more?
Oh yeah, no, for me, live hacking events any day of the week because I'm a social creature, and for me, live hacking events is a way to meet people. Like I love going to conferences, right? And I love to meet people. I like to have a couple of beers and just talk about the things that are happening outside the conference. That's where the real connection happens for me personally. But I'm an extremely extrovert, and I love talking to people. Heck, I even love people more than I love computers. But I obviously love computers a lot, so there's a big thing going on there. And so for me, absolutely, I would say I get really bored on just being and hacking on the same program if there's no engagement there, or if I'm not hacking with a group of people. So yeah, no, I would say I'm terribly missing live hacking events. Virtual ones aren't that. They are cool, but they don't give me that connection that I get when I get to meet people like you. Like when we're chilled in Ahmedabad, you know, that's the connection that's important for me, meeting people.
Yep. Yeah, I see in that conference you are interactive with many people and you give some tips how you got started. And I see that Twitter and Instagram also you are really active. So Stok, the next question is, where do you see a bug bounty as a field in next 10 years of span? As people are making a lot of automation in these days.
I would say I'm not a future teller. I couldn't even guess where bounties are in 5 years. This is such a young industry. It hasn't even been around really for 10 years yet. So there's no idea for us to guess. But I would say, I think that in the future, there won't be a single program that don't have a bounty program. If you don't have a VDP or a way to security researchers to report things into your system, then you're doomed. And even though everybody's talking about automation, and that's cool, I dig that. But let's say, for instance, you're beginning and you're doing bounties, right? And you're using Subfinder, together with Gao, and you're using it together with, I don't know, like Jaegels or nuclei templates. And and you're only using those templates, right? You're going to do exactly the same thing as the next guy. Like you guys are doing the same thing. So you need to understand these are great tools for automation, but you can't just rely on them because everybody else is doing them too. And if bounties is such a amazing place because it's all about the race, right? You're either first or you're not at all. That's it. Like there's no second place in bounties. So if you're creating, everybody's doing subdomain takeovers, right? And eventually you're lucky in finding one or somebody who is a minute faster than you or doing that kind of stuff. For me, I personally see the human aspect of it. I see this at live hacking events over and over again. You have this heavily tested target. Let's say login.yahoo.com. Like everybody's testing that a plethora of times, but they bring it into a live hacking event. 50 people are focusing their brains on it, and they're finding bugs that are 50 years old in that system. That things happens all the time. So you need to understand that there's bugs in there. It just takes time to look for them, and you can't just do that by relying to automation. So it's a combination. Automation to find and identify your attack surface, manual work, and the brain of the human, that's the thing that's going to change the game. Everybody's talking about AI, but the AI is only as smart as you can train it. If you're not having these elite hackers showing them the secret ways how to train that AI, there's just going to be, popping XXSs everywhere.
Yeah. So, Stok, the next question is, which one is your favorite target, and how do you see yourself when you have got a critical vulnerability on any target that has been thoroughly tested, like Verizon or Starbucks? I know you have found some race condition on Starbucks.
Yeah, that's cool. And I would say my favorite targets aren't public targets. Of course, like I can't talk about them, but I really like the security teams behind them. And but absolutely, always top shelf. The ones that I really, really like are Uber, and I really like Verizon, because paranoids, in my humble opinion, is the leaders at the moment when it comes to, expanding what bounties are. Like they are always trying something new. There's all these cool things going on, and they throw a lot of live hacking events. So I'm kind of partial to that because I like hunting on programs that eventually throw a live hacking event. And the feeling that I get when I find it critical is something that's been well tested. It's amazing. That's always how it is. Every time, to this day, it doesn't matter what kind of bug it is. But if let's say it's a blind bug that fires on my collaborator or my DNS out-of-band DNS server, I'm like, ooh, I love that feeling. It gives me goosebumps just thinking about it, because I love the hunt. The hunt is half of it. And then you're trying to figure out, how can I exploit this? And wow, all this cool stuff. Because that's what drives me. The adrenaline rush that arrives with filing cool bugs. I don't care about really low bugs, or it seems like elitistic, but I rather spend time on trying to figure out really weird stuff and just find that weird thing that not going to dupe out than just going for copy pasting XXS payloads with my XXS hunter everywhere.
Okay. So yeah, I see one of your videos, like file upload out of band. You upload, in the collaborator, after 1 day you got a response, and $7,500 bug bounty. You made a one video. So guys, link in the description. Make sure guys you check this out. Okay, so Stok, what resources will you recommend to study and practice for bug bounties?
I would definitely recommend doing pen testers labs. It's such an amazing platform, right? And if you haven't already, look at it like this. If you're really interested in going deep in this field and being a professional, I would recommend anyone to just get a Burp Pro license, because with the Burp Pro features, you get a lot of other things that you can play around with. You got scanners, you got unlimited speed on your intruder and Burp Collaborator, and you can host your own Burp Collaborator. Because if you're using the same collaborator as the server as everybody else, it might just be that some programs will block that out. So if you're having your own custom domain, it's a bigger chance for you to get those things that's been blocked. Anywho, I would say that, I lost the question. I lost my train of thought.
yeah. Resources for studies and practicing the bug bounties. Means blogs.
This is where we're going. Absolutely. That's where we're going. That's why I went down the Burp Suite area. No, I would say Burp Suite Academy is super, super good. You know, all these, or the Portfolio Academy, it's so many great things there to just test around. And then it's one gentleman called Adam Langley. He has a website called, I think it's like ctfchallenges.co.uk. And it's actually the most realistic bounty-based CTFs that I've seen. And you can spend a lot of time doing try to hack or try hack me and all these other ones. But I would say the way that Adam Langley does his stuff with, he provides you with the word lists, you brute force, you need to find these endpoints and all these cool chains. So yeah, no, I really like his stuff. That's a good practice run.
Okay, so my next question is about a CTF or bug bounties. Like many beginners are confused about what to start first, CTF or bug bounty. So what would you suggest? Do CTF useful in bug bounties?
I didn't do any CTFs at all, to be honest. I started to hunt directly on live targets, primarily because that's just how I am. I was impatient. I'd rather not spend a lot of time trying to break something that I knew was vulnerable, or trying to learn how this typical kind of box worked. But then again, I've done the OSCP, so I understand the concept. It wasn't that, but in bounties, I rather do live targets, because if I'm going to invest time in learning something that my brain is going to be trained to identify, I'd rather do it on a platform that I know eventually I will get paid. So I'm not going to be the best player on that box, on Hack the Box. Like, I'm the fastest solver on that. It doesn't matter much for me. I'd rather be able to invest my time, because the most precious thing I have and the most thing that I care most about is my time, because I only have 24 hours a day. It doesn't matter. I can't make 25. I can make $1 million because I can earn money, but I can't get more time. Time is precious to me. Yeah. So being able to invest my time on the things that eventually will return ROI, like return of investment, I would go strictly and just try to understand the app deeply on a user level while having a burp, SAP, or whatever scanner proxy in between. So you get that idea what's going on, and then you just find the bugs. Save that burp history, go back to it again, look through it, find stuff. Yeah.
Okay. So the next question is, can you tell something about your mind map, like how you choose the target and how you recon on it?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. I primarily choose targets, or I used to choose targets that I knew had a complex access privilege function, because I'm not a huge fan of hacking on static websites or websites without much functionality. For me, it's more important to be able to have multiple areas to test in. Let's say access privilege bugs, IDOR bugs, and all that, because just like Jason Haddock said a while back, is that an injection bug is easily patchable, but it requires more time to find a logic or access privilege bug, because it can differ in so many ways. And on each and every request, you have 4 different ways. You got get, you got post, you got put, and delete, right? You need to test all those. There's a lot of plethora of different ways to communicate with the app. So I would say I would go deep in just learning and trying to understand how this deeper app works. So for me, it needs to be applications that has depth, because I'm not, my recon game isn't that strong. I'm no namsec. I don't spend hours and hours and hours on finding stuff. And now I'm actually buying his stuff. I'm subscribing to Recon Dev just so I don't have to work, right?
Yeah, that's
so. So I'm just going to do that. And for me, it's just finding that attack surface and just going as deep as possible. I love falling in love with programs and apps, so I know them inside and out.
Okay, so Stok, which tools you use the most?
I would say I use Axiom for my scanning and for my communications, and I use Burp Suite. I rigorously use Burp Suite, like every day.
Yep. So Stok, I know you are very good in file upload and XXE. So any tips for finding XXE or file uploads, or any authentication bypass tips?
Yeah, sure. No, absolutely. You know, that's the thing. Each and every website that you visit, more or less, have this kind of file upload. There's going to be a profile picture. Maybe there's some template you can upload. Maybe there's an import or an export function. All these things will eventually, you know, if those surface, I'll spend extra time on those. If there's a website referencing another website, I'll look for local file inclusions, remote file inclusions. And if there's a file upload, I'll just, you know, SVG uploads, docx uploads, whatever it is that parses XML, I'm going to go hard on those. And I'm going to expect that they are blind. There's no chance in hell that these are going to be visually just showing up in the error or the 500 error. So I'm just going to expect that they are all blind. So I need to identify a way for me to have unique endpoints every time. And I use Burp Collaborator. I have my own servers where I host stuff. So I get these unique identifiers. So I know exactly what hit where and such. So I would say craft your own payloads. Look for, if there's anything that just responds to XML, you know, hey, try for entities there. Try to do error-based. I know Peter Honoki posted on Twitter the other day a really cool repository that just contains all these error-based versions of local file DDT inclusions and error-based XXEs. If you Google it up, you'll probably find it. It's really cool, and that's just a good way to do stuff, like find information on GitHub, borrow the payloads, modify it, see that it works. Try to run all these payloads on your own test bed. There's like, I usually see, if I'm not certain if my XXE is fully crafted, I'll just, if I have a vulnerability site that I know that's going to be vulnerable to it, I'll test it there, or I'll test it on, let's say, Burp Suites, or maybe like Pentesters Labs, any of those test sites that I know are going to be vulnerable. and then see if it fires correctly. Then I know for sure that I got a payload that works, and then I'll just chug that everywhere, more or less.
Okay, that's great. So the next question is, how much time do you give for bug hunting in your daily routine, or either in a month, in a week?
Oh, it differs, man. It differs. I would say if there's a live hacking event, 2 weeks before the event starts, I'm not doing much more than just hacking, right? I'm eating, sleeping, hacking. That's all I do, 24/7. And then usually after that, I'm going to be so burned out, because 2 or 3 weeks of just constantly just having your brain going on full charge mode, at least for me, that just burns me out. So I need to not look at a computer for a week or two and just chill with it. And then eventually what happens for me is that after a burnout, I'll just be not interested in computers. But eventually, it goes a week, maybe 2, and I see somebody tweeting something cool, and I'm like, oh, interesting, I wonder how that works, and then I'm intrigued again, and boom, I'm back in the game. So that's usually how it works. But I would say each and every other week I do certain stuff. I test tools all the time, because I have this show called Bounty Thursdays, where I give people tips about stuff, and recording a simple, like an episode that's only for 5 minutes for you to watch usually takes me 3 or 4 days just to create, because I need to find the information, I need to do the research, I need to test the tools, I need to verify that I'm not, retweeting or talking about something that's actually shit. I need to verify that it actually works in one way or another, and then record the video, edit, and get it out, and then you send it to as many channels as possible to share, to make sure that as many people as possible have a chance to level up their game. Because I'm doing all this not for myself, but primarily because I want people to get excited about application security. We need more people in application security. So yeah, so I'm doing that. But I would say maybe every week I'll maybe chug in 8 to 20 hours, maybe of bug hunting, but most of the times I don't find anything. That's how it is. That's life.
No,
but I do it for the fun of it.
Yeah. So that is one compliment for you. Yeah. As a content creator, I like that playlist called Bounty Thursdays. I know you have to do lots of research for making the videos, because I also create some content. People thinking making a videos is like a very easy. This is not a POC, guys. This is not a video POC that you make it, because here we have to verify these things working or not. After that, we have to test it, we have to record it, we have to make a script, then the lots of editing, making the thumbnails, upload it, and we have to show to the world this thing is working or not. So this is a really huge thing you do, man. Hats off to you. Hats off to you.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, it's a lot of work, but because if you fuck it up, to be honest, people are going to tell you about it. So you better get it right the first time. That's normally how it works.
Yeah.
I don't do it for the money. It's not the reason. I do it because I'm really, really passionate about telling the story. Like this is historical. The things that we're having right now. The way that bug bounties it's a piece of history. It didn't exist 50 years ago, and who knows if you're going to exist in 50 years? We don't know. But right now, it's a really cool space to be in, and I rather share my experiences and get somebody. If I can just inspire one single person to change their life, like something is all right, that made it for me. I'm going to give this a go, or I found my first bug, or I woke up today and I'm feeling happy about my life. If I could help contribute that, my mission is done. That's what it is for me.
Okay, so the next question is, what's the coolest swag you got till now?
The coolest swag. The coolest swag that I got has to be posters are pretty badass. I'm happy about those super limited posters. My name is on there for the live hacking events. I think those are really, really cool. I got some hackerone beanies. I got a lot of cool stuff, but then again, it's just clothing and wear stuff. I love my hackerone battery charger. I think that's really cool. I got a VR goggles from Salesforce. That was cool. You know, there's certain kind of stuff, but anything that's custom swag, like if it has my name on it, I'm like, oh my God, they think about me. I'm just gonna wear that more. I know it's all marketing, but then again, you know, it makes my ego boost a bit, and I feel happy. So yeah, I'm cool with that.
Yeah. So Stök, what's the best thing you have bought from yourself from the money earned through from the bug bounties? I'm just talking about your bug bounties money. Have you bought anything?
I would say this studio is all made from bounty money. You know, my computer, my laptop, my screens, my camera gear, all that stuff is all bounty money. You know, I think that's an amazing thing. I had the possibility to buy an e-commerce platform for my clothing business, and like a lot of like development and cool stuff that I dreamt about. You know, I got terabytes and terabytes of network storage that I need to, because I never delete any kind of content. Everything that I record, I always keep, and that requires a lot of terabyte of data. So no, everything that has gone back into building the studio and the things that I do, so I can share the things that I've learned with everyone else.
Yeah. And the main question is, many people getting the duplicates now. So what is the motivation tips to give to them?
Yeah, that's cool. Dupes happen. They happen all the time. And the more people that get into the game, the more dupes they're going to surface. That's normal. It's the name of the game. Only first place is the one that counts. And the motivation there is that every single bug you found is a valid bug. And that is something that if you find it and somebody else found it, that means it's replicatable. It's probably going to be somewhere else because somebody else had the same methodology as you. And if you're getting a lot of dupes in this area, let's say that you're submitting a certain kind of bug type or something, and you get a lot of dupes here, what do you need to do? Well, it's probably not to look at that. Maybe you should do the totally opposite of what you're doing, because you're doing the same thing as everybody else. Move over here where there's less traveled road. Maybe if you're spending too much time deciding which of the OWASP top 10 bugs should you go for, like all these amazing OWASP top 10. Maybe what's on OWASP place 11 or 12 or 13 or 15. Maybe there's some new research out there. Maybe there's some stuff that you can look for. So try to, because usually this is how it works. The more critical the bug is, the least chance it's going to be a dupe. Because people, if it's a really critical bug for the company, I've reported bugs that's been observed, fixed, and dealt with within hours, like seriously within hours, just because the criticality. They need to deal with it like right now. So there's no chance nobody else dupes on them. And most of the bugs that I've sent into, at least on HackerOne, they don't have any, there's no one joining those as a secondary reporter, because they were fixed really, really fast. Yeah. So I would say go for more critical bugs or try to stay off the well-traveled path. Yeah.
So Stök, right now, what is the trend is like many newcomers come in the bug bounty and they're thinking that is like lots of big industry, lots of money. So they are not looking for a job. They think they are, what I do, just go a full-time bug bounty hunter. And after that, they get a duplicate and demotivated. And after that, like as a fastest, like there's a bug bounty, I am go with it. After that, change the motivation. So what you tell about like as a bug bounty is so what you give the advice, like go for a job. After that, do a bug bounty as a hobby. So what would you?
Yeah, I would say that. I would say that. I would definitely agree with you. You know, that's the thing. You know, it's. If you're just waking up one morning and you don't have a job and you got nothing else to do, then do bounties. Have fun. if you have no bills to pay, if you got nobody to take care of, if you have nothing that you care about, it's just you, and rather instead of you watching like binge watching Netflix or just doing some crappy shit, look for bugs. Like it's a really good way for you to just learn the mindset of being a hacker or offensive person and understanding apps and all that. Use bug bounties in that way to be a career path for you, because if you have a couple of Hall of Fames, if you have a couple of really nice bugs, if you have some disclosed reports and you have some nice write-ups, isn't that the best CV you ever can have, right? It's a perfect way for you to showcase for a company that says, I'm really interested in information security. Cyber run through my veins. I want to be a part of this community. Can you please give me an internship? This is what I've done. That's a really good way to getting a job. Then when you have that job, you can do bounties as a side gig, because with jobs and companies, you will get internal training. You will have a team. You will have a lot of people to hang around with, and you will be a very important part of our community in our industry. So use bounties is a great gateway drug of getting into InfoSec. But when you're in, have that job, build your career, do bounties on the side. I did for the first 2 years, I did bounties every Thursday. I had a full-time job as a cybersecurity advisor. So I just took 1 day off work, took a pay cut just to be able to do bounties for 8 full hours every Thursday. That's the name, Bounty Thursday. That's what but I had 25 years of experience. That's the difference. If you have no experience and you're starting out, see it as a great hobby. You know, I've skateboarded for years. I've played so many hours of computer games or done other stuff, and I never got paid for that, right?
Yeah.
But you have a chance to get paid. And why not invest time that is going to be good for you? Like you're learning your puzzling skill and thinking outside the box, the creative work. And you're training yourself to find information how to solve problems. And you will eventually get paid. Seems like a win-win situation for me. I would do that as a learning thing and have fun with it.
Great. So Stok, now some rapid fire questions like, yeah, Chrome or Firefox?
Both.
Okay. Google or DuckDuckGo?
I would say Google, but privacy has its cost.
Okay. Bug bounty or full-time job?
Both.
Okay. So I think you also right now join in Synack Red team. I think so. That's right?
Yep.
Yeah, I see on the Slack because I also was in Synack Red team. So Synack or Cobalt?
I haven't done anything with Cobalt, so I can't say anything.
Okay. bugcrowd or hackerone?
Hackerone. But I also really like bugcrowd.
Okay. Web pen testing or APIs?
I would say web pen testing.
Okay. Your favorite games?
My favorite games are the Borderlands series and anything that was made from LucasArts in the 90s.
Okay. So I guess that's it for today. I would like to thank Stok for joining this Cybertalk and sharing his knowledge and experience with our audience. It will surely help us in future. It was an honor to host you, sir. And guys,
it's been a pleasure to be here. So cool. And I'm very grateful for the things that you do, and you give me that possibility to get more people to see the things that I do and, you know, have a chance to hang out with you. If you want to see more of the things that I do, you can always head over to my YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/StokFrederick, or my website, stokfrederick.com, and sign up for my newsletter.
Yeah, sure. So guys, if you like this video, press the thumbs up, and if you are new on my channel, make sure guys you subscribe and press the bell icon, and follow the Stok Frederick on the twitter.com/StokFrederick, instagram.com/StokFrederick. Okay, so this is Благодаря, over and out.